Breath of the Wild and the Switch itself have finally been released. After what feels like a million years, we finally have the newest installment in this amazing series and the next generation of Nintendo hardware. And according to pretty much everyone everywhere, not only is this the best Zelda game ever made, but perhaps one of the best games ever made. This game has been getting perfect or near perfect scores across the board, and is, at the time of this recording, sitting at a 98 on Metacritic, which is insane. I've dived into it for a few hours myself, and I haven't been this enchanted with a game since, I don't know, ever maybe. I feel like a kid again, like I'm waking up early in the morning, pouring a bowl of cereal, and just getting lost in a new game that I never want to pull myself away from. I mean, heck, even just making this video right now, I'm getting some eye twitches from not being able to parasail my way through Hyrule. The Japanese release of the Switch was met with the usual enthusiasm, as people were lined up for hours before the stores even opened. In fact, in Japan, it's so popular, it's completely sold out in most large stores. This is actually a very big deal. Console gaming in Japan has been on the decline for quite some time. Handhelds like the 3DS and Vita, and of course smartphones, have nearly completely taken over the market. Just look at once great game developers like Konami and Square Enix, and look at how many mobile games they're releasing. So everyone assumed that console gaming would soon be completely dead in Japan, but from the looks of it, Nintendo was poised to change all of that. Of course, it certainly helps that the Switch is both a console and a handheld, which is most likely why it struck such a chord with the Japanese audience. But either way, a world where Nintendo is on top is a good world to live in. One of the reasons the Wii U didn't get so many games is because it didn't sell well and therefore interest was very low. But if the Switch takes off the way it looks like it might, this means more games from both Nintendo and third parties, more indie games, more everything. A console doing well in Japan is a good sign of things to come. A handheld doing well in the West is also a good sign of things to come. This hybrid idea looks like it might be exactly what Nintendo needed to get back on top, or at least further up the ladder. And also, the big AAA launch title for the Switch is also one of the best games to come out in the last 20 years. Nintendo is definitely hitting it out of the park from day one. We'll have to wait for exact sales numbers, but from the looks of things, Zelda and the Switch itself are doing just fine in the motherland. On Twitter, Amazon, Nichan, you name it, everyone is in love with this game, and for good reason. It's simply amazing. The newly updated edition of the Hyrule Historia has been released, and I managed to snag a copy. Just as with the first edition, this book contains everything about everything you could ever want to know about the Zelda universe. The new edition contains a newly updated timeline, including the newly released games up to but not including Breath of the Wild. So we'll just have to wait until everyone can decipher the story of the new game before we know where it takes place exactly, though I'm sure a lot of people have probably already figured it out. All the items and characters from Triforce Heroes, Link Between Worlds, and more, everything is here. Every game except of course those CDI masterpieces are included, so for any Zelda fan, from casual all the way up to those of you who have an Impa body pillow, you don't want to miss it. And finally, now that the Switch is region-free, that means you can download and play any game from any region. Now, truth be told, the US and Europe may not be so different, but this is your chance to finally get to play some of those games that are only released in Japan. Of course, there may be a huge language barrier for some, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy some of the hidden gems of the Japan Switch release. Right now, one of the main draws of the Japan eShop are the Neo Geo Arcade Classic titles. In Japan right now, you can buy King of Fighters 98, Waku Waku 7, Shock Troopers, World Heroes Perfect, and Metal Slug 3. Each are approximately $8, and I would say that's well worth the money if you kind of want to get into the virtual console a little bit early. For my money, I would pick up Waku Waku 7, which is possibly the most bizarre fighting game you'll ever play. I mean, you can literally play as a punching bag. So there you go. So let us know in the comments below. Did you buy a Switch? Did you buy Zelda? How are you liking it? We would love to hear your thoughts. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Commonwealth Realm.